Hey, what's up? This is Chosen, and in this video, we are going to talk about the hot topic around Holy Banner, the Crusader skill, and why it is the most impactful and important ability in the entire game for PvE content. We'll do a deep look at that topic and discuss why. Let's get into it. Alrighty, so first of all, I did switch to the Crusader here, 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I covered that on the channel. And a big reason why I did that was the Holy Banner ability, because when we are getting into Hell 4 and Hell 5 and all that, and it's time to start really grinding those dungeons to optimize our set pieces and get those set piece drops, we are going to be slamming through these dungeons, all of them, and you always want a banner on your team. I found myself as a demon hunter constantly begging Crusaders to play with me, like, hey, when do you have time to group up, because I want a banner. Hey, can you play with me tonight? Like, so eventually I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna play Crusader, and then I don't have to worry about it anymore. I'll be the damn banner that people want in their group, and I won't have to beg Crusaders to play with me, because the Holy Banner ability is just so insane. For those of you that are either new to the game or aren't familiar with the Crusader, I'll just really quickly go over it. We've got a 24-second cooldown, which is long, but it's manageable long, because like you stop, you do an engagement, and then by the time you get to the next one, you're kind of ready to go and drop another banner. And sometimes even if you play with 2 Crusaders, you're just cycling banners and you have them permanently up, which can create some pretty insane dungeon runs. But we're gonna plant a banner that inspires nearby allies for about 11 seconds, increasing the crit chance by 100%. So we'll talk about in a little bit why that's so good. But decreasing critical hit damage by 135% instead of double. Crit hit chance over 100% will grant up to 65% additional crit hit damage. And then we've got different things that compare with this skill in the essence transfer, where we can either make it move with us, like plant it on our back and carry it around, or increase its duration, and all sorts of things that will synergize to make the Holy Banner a little bit stronger. Now, the reason that this is so strong is because, admittedly, my build here is pretty tanky. I'm trying to be a tank in defending the vault and kind of enabling my team in battlegrounds and in the Rite of Exile and all that. So I am not built as a DPS carry, but you can see the crit hit chance up there, up top. The crit hit chances in this game, the base level is extremely low. I would say most people are in between like 5 and 20% on your builds for crit hit chance. So when you've got a banner that it gives you 100%, it's an insane amount of crit chance. And in order to crank out a ton of damage and clear content fast, you need to be critting, because then you can scale with your crit hit damage and burst things down way faster. And I can really articulate this to you a little bit better on why it's so good in Diablo Immortal by pulling up Diablo 3 here for a second. Now, for those of you that don't know or are new to my channel, I was actually a content creator for Diablo 3 for a few years on this exact channel. So if you go back to some of my oldest videos, you'll see a bunch of Diablo 3 content. And I load up Diablo 3 to show you that the crit hit chance on my normal speed farming build here on my Demon Hunter on Diablo 3, my base crit hit chance is 55%. So anything in Diablo 3 that would buff my crit chance is not going to be near as impactful as it is in Diablo Immortal, where my crit chance is literally like 1/5 of that. So that's why those abilities like Banner can be so ridiculously cracked in Diablo Immortal, because the base crit hit chances are so low. And since we have to crit when we're trying to do damage and clear content fast, that is why the Holy Banner is so ridiculously strong in Diablo Immortal when you are in a group and wanting to crank out damage, because this thing, you drop it and look at how big that area is, and with the arrow keeper it moves with me. So in this entire circle, when we're clearing content solo or in a group, we are able to crit guaranteed and just blast down. And the game is a little bit bursty, especially in dungeons. You kind of like walk to a boss, burst it, walk to a boss, burst it. So that is a few reasons why the banner is so ridiculous. And also, I'm not really usually in favor of nerfing things. I like to figure out why something is insanely strong and then give other classes and other abilities ways to catch up and equalize the playing field with that. Instead of taking every Crusader and nerfing what they do and making them feel bad, why don't we adjust the game in a way where it's still strong, but there's other options as well that can be just as good. And I think one way that we could possibly accomplish that is by shortening the gap on how ridiculous of a buff that the 100% crit chance is. A way we could accomplish that is by the secondary stats here, where sometimes you'll get an effect of like crit hit chance increased by 3%, 4%, whatever. I think there'd be a good opportunity to buff up how strong those secondary stats are. Well, let's increase those numbers. Let's make it so it's super impactful to find pieces. If you're a damage dealer, find pieces that have crit hit chance as a secondary stat on them, because then you could go from 5 to 13, and then you find another one, you go from 13 to 20. Instead of those being such a low number, let's bump those up to like 10% and allow DPS characters that are doing good with the grind and optimizing their pieces to really get rewarded for that, to go from 5% crit to 40 or 50%. And now when you add a banner on top of that, it's going to be strong, but not as strong, because we are shortening the gap between the effects by enabling people to get a higher base crit chance without banner. And on top of things like that, we could go through other classes and give them really cool support options as well. Maybe add damage increase or crit chance increase or crit damage increase to more skills in the game to give a little bit more options to play with. I understand not every class can have the same abilities, but maybe just things similar to the banner, at least one or two of those skills in the game that are comparable in power, to give us more options as we're setting up PvE teams or teams that are trying to really do burst damage. But yeah, hopefully that gives you a little bit of an understanding as to why the Holy Banner is so ridiculous, and maybe some possible things to kick around and think about for us to shorten the gap and make the game a little bit more balanced and provide more options to other players. But as always, let me know what you think down below. I always enjoy hearing your perspectives on things, and remember to subscribe on your way out if you enjoy daily Diablo Immortal content. I will see you soon in the next video. As always, thanks for watching. Peace.